Season 4 of Warzone and Black Ops 6 is finally here, and Verdansk is still feeling absolutely fantastic. There's even a brand new POI to Verdansk that we've never seen before. This is the new tower in downtown called the Overlook, which just looks so much fun. And this is on top of new weapons like the LC-10 SMG and the FFAR assault rifle, which is one of my all-time favorite weapons in Call of Duty. Then we've also got the marksman rifle, the S6 Model 7, coming later in the season too. Along with the new weapons, there's, as usual, new skins and operators, and there's ranked play coming to Rebirth Island too. So there's a lot going on this season, and now seems like as good a time as ever to improve our settings, get the game looking great, and get an advantage over the enemy. So let's hop into the graphics settings. And we start here with the display settings, specifically the refresh rate. So we want to enable 120Hz refresh rate, which will only be an option if your system can run 120Hz like a newer generation console, and if your monitor allows it as well. For brightness, I've got mine on 50. I've actually reduced it a little bit recently, and that's just because Verdansk is very well lit, particularly compared to the olden days. For quality, we want to turn off world motion blur, weapon motion blur, and depth of field. These three settings can make the game look a lot more theatrical, and sometimes like you're watching a film or something, but all of those blurring effects actually just do make it harder to see people in the game, as well as sometimes causing a little bit more processing requirements on your system, which can result in a lower frames per second. For Fidelity FX CAS, switch this on. This gives us a software solution to just having sharper images. So especially on consoles, you can notice that some images in games can be blurry. Well, this setting is a great way to get rid of that. So obviously people do play on different systems and different monitors, so there isn't a one size fits all for this. Basically, if the game looks a little bit blurry, put the strength up. But generally, I think newer generation consoles, you can put somewhere between 70 and even 90 with the strength, whereas older generation consoles, you want to go a bit lower, say between 10 and 30, and then PC, it's very much going to depend on the PC. Now, you should be aware that this does lower your frames per second ever so slightly, and we really are talking between 1 or 3 frames per second or something like that. And then for on-demand texture streaming, I've got mine on optimized. If you do want to ensure it doesn't have too much of an impact on your connection, you can put on some download limits. Then as we go over to view, I've put my field of view all the way up to 120. I've noticed a huge difference playing Urzikstan and Black Ops 6 multiplayer, and then going to Verdansk. For whatever reason, the weapon feels just bigger on the screen, and like I can't see as much around me. So I have cranked it up to 120. If you do put it on this and you struggle to see enemies far away, then by all means put it down a little bit, but generally you want to see as much as the environment as possible. And again, I should warn you that the higher you have your FOV, the more processing your system has to do, so the lower frames per second you get. And actually that was a huge deal with why Call of Duty didn't want an FOV slider for consoles back on Warzone 1. They thought the impact would just be too much on performance. But now it's a little bit more optimized, we do have the option. For ADS field of view, put it on affected. This makes it so when we aim in, we're still at the FOV setting we've just set here, and then it does have the double advantage of having reduced visual recoil because of this. For weapon field of view, put this on wide. This makes our weapon look smaller, ensuring we can see as much as the environment as possible. And then for camera movements, we want to put this on least. We're not quite done there though, because we do want to go over to interface. Now, whether you're on PC or console, there is a shortcut here to making the game look much better, and that's on color customization under the readability tab. We want to go down to color filter, put it on filtered 2, and then turn the intensity all the way up to 100. This essentially is a shortcut to putting a saturation filter over the whole image, and things just pop that little bit more. That being said, if you are on PC, there are loads of different graphics card filters that you can apply, but this is a great quick way to make the game look fantastic. And then as we come over to gameplay HUD, for the safe area, we want to narrow this as much as possible. And the reason for this is that it brings that minimap closer to the center of the screen. And the advantage of this is that when we scan from the center of the screen and our crosshairs up to the corner of the screen, the minimap, it minimizes that distance, which means we spend more time getting the information from the minimap and then applying that in front of us to the crosshairs. And that may sound ridiculous because it's like a millisecond, but honestly, it does have a big difference. And then for the minimap shape, we do want this on square. It gives us about a 25% extra coverage compared to the circle option. And then the rest of the stuff on here, I think, is just pretty subjective. So they're all the best settings for graphics right now. If you do want to improve the rest of your settings too, join me over in these videos where I cover the best updated audio and controller settings.